Good morning. Welcome to an edition of the Blaine Buzz. Thanks for joining us again this week. I wanted to just sort of recap what went on with our meeting with the President this past week. We were honored to have him come visit our conference. It's always good to be able to have those lines of communication open, and we welcome the President to visit with us anytime. It's an opportunity for us to state our case. It's an opportunity for him to state his case and begin the dialogue that we really need to be able to come to an agreement on a lot of issues that are before us. The meeting was very cordial, very respectful. That being said, I'm not sure we accomplished a whole lot from the standpoint that the President sort of restated a lot of his positions with regards to the budget, revenues, immigration, things like that. By the same token, we restated our positions as well. One of the concerns that we have with the President is we pointedly ask him, Mr. President, are you willing to balance the budget at some point? And as you know, we're trying to balance the budget within the next 10 years. And ask him if he would commit to any sort of timeline like that. And yet he said no. The only thing he wants to do is sort of reduce the amount of the deficit in the budget, but that doesn't ever get us to zero. And that's very disconcerting. Another thing that we were talking about that I thought was an interesting area where I think we can find some common ground was with regards to revenues. He's been pounding, as you well know, on increasing revenues by closing loopholes and using those dollars to spend. We are supportive of closing loopholes, but we want to use those dollars to lower the tax rates for both businesses and individuals. In the meeting, he indicated he'd be willing to use the corporate revenues that we would raise by closing loopholes to lower corporate rates on a revenue neutral basis, which is a really big deal because that would really help stimulate the economy and provide opportunities for job growth. So perhaps there is an area there where we could find some common ground. Immigration reform, we basically stayed in some big areas, didn't really get down to details on it. And of course, we asked him about the White House tours. Unfortunately, he blamed it on the Secret Service rather than himself, which I thought was very disingenuous from the standpoint that that the President can't oversee his own budget in his own White House and take responsibility for it. What can he take responsibility for? In my office here, we've had a total now, counting the sequestration cuts, of almost 20% worth of cuts over the last 3 years. And we turn back anywhere from 4 to 9% every year on top of that. So don't tell me you can't cut 2.5% out of your budget someplace, and especially the White House budget whenever he went on a $900,000 golf trip 2 weeks before. There are opportunities for savings, and it can be done. So with that, we're excited by the opportunity to meet with him. Hopefully he'll be willing to do this more often, and we can continue this dialogue, and hopefully something good can come out of it. And we're hopeful we can get some arrangements done here shortly that can move our budget process along. But with that, we'll look forward to seeing you next week. Take care.